All right, so we have what Turbo Dog just said was pretty much Soten B team right now. We are playing on a Saturn. This was a Japanese Soten only, Saturn only version, which allows us to play Maria. We're going to start the run right now, and I'm just going to let Turbo fire off what I'm doing.
All right. So a lot of concessions made to the Saturn version that you're going to see throughout the run. Tons of little minor differences. We're going to try to focus more on the gameplay aspects of this, but I would definitely, if you're familiar with Soten, I'd at least take a look at this game because there's some interesting stuff in there.
All right.
Not only for Maria.
Yeah, very true. All right, I will give countdown. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so a lot of stuff to go through. This is a very fast run. It's a very similar run to the Richter run that we saw recently.
And he has 27 seconds to tell you right now because we're going to be loading for a bit.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The Saturn did nothing wrong. So there's going to be a lot of movement tech that Maria has that looks kind of similar, but is functionally very different to Richter. So starting off at the beginning, we're going to see that Maria has the ability to run like Richter does, but she can actually do a flying kick out of it in the next room. That flying kick does a lot of damage, covers a lot of space, moves very quickly, and you can control how you land based on holding forward or back as you do so. You also notice that Josh was able to slide along the ground. That does a little bit of damage that can be relevant for killing certain enemies, but it's also a very fast form of movement, faster than the jump kick. Something interesting to note is that Josh actually will try to avoid killing certain enemies because the Saturn version has an extreme amount of graphical lag when processing certain animations. For example, even the dust that's kicked up when you backdash in this game can cause sizable graphical lag. So Maria also has the ability to super jump.
Loading.
Very similar to Richter. The big perk for her, though, is she actually gets a huge amount of horizontal movement, as you can see here, on her super jumps. That allows her to cut crazy angles that are really not possible with any other character, even if Alucard uses his gravity bat tech. Makes Maria a very, very fun character to play. She's so mobile. In addition to that, she also gets a triple jump, which allows you to fix your trajectory in many different places, which is awesome. So she actually has a few different offensive options besides the flying kick and the slide. Would you kind of like to talk about a couple of those, Josh?
There's going to be some spells that are coming up. Require ridiculous inputs. Took me a long time to get the inputs right. And we're going to require mana. Every little diagonal jump actually uses a little bit of mana. So it becomes pretty important to watch mana later, especially if you're going to be screwing up.
But yeah, the Maria does large amounts of her damage via her spells that she can cast. They're based around the 4 basic, like, holy Chinese beasts. I don't remember the exact names of them. But they are themed after that, and they just do crazy amounts of damage. Another move that she can do that we're going to be seeing fairly shortly is she has the ability to summon all of their powers, and when she does that spell, she becomes invincible for like 40 seconds or something. During that invincibility, she deals damage just by contacting enemies, and I believe it buffs her other offensive moves as well.
It does.
She's also going to get access to sub-weapons as well. The Bible is going to be the main one that we use in this fight in order to output the damage.
First try.
Nice. So these bosses melt as a result of the tech that I was mentioning before.
That was actually really good.
Yeah, very. It was a strong fight. Originally, we were using another spell that was basically kind of like a flamethrower spell that we'll see later in order to defeat that boss, but it was discovered that it's actually slightly faster to do basically what Josh did there,
and
run a double Bible.
And it actually added RNG to the run.
Yeah.
Because the Griffin could go any direction.
Yeah, if you get some really good luck and patterns, you can get some uppercuts, and if you crit during uppercuts while you have 4 beast mode, you do just buckets of damage. It's crazy. So, as with Richter, we are going to be making our way to the second castle here. And again, like, you can just really see in these outdoor scenes, like at the chapel and outdoors in the castle keep, just how much the game slows down as a result of the Saturn hardware. I like to say all the time that the Saturn version of this game has all of the extras and none of the gameplay. Because it runs terribly, but it has some interesting little things like this Maria. Even if you were to play Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP, that version of Maria is completely different from this one. So it's well worth your time if you are a Symphony of the Night fan to see if you can get a hold of this game.
It is actually really fun.
So, like, it's obviously very important for positioning in the Richter version of this run. How important is positioning for Maria, do you feel like?
When it comes to the fly kicks, you have a lot of control over where you want to land and how far you want to go. So I'd say it's pretty open. The run comes down to very specific jumps to continue. So there's some times where you'll do a forward jump kick and you'll clip a wall and you'll just slide up and then down. You'll probably see me do that a couple times later in the run. But yeah, it's just a time waster. See, that's really the only thing. I didn't slide through there this time.
So in this next fight, we're going to get to see that flame spell that I mentioned before. And if we get a sweet thing, we might get gray flame, but we'll see.
Or diamond. Or nothing.
All right. All right.
So,
it's all right. Still kills him in one move.
And fun fact, Gray Flame's ultra rare. Got one during practice earlier.
Yeah. Gray Flame does exceptionally more damage. It's still kind of a little bit of a mystery how they occur.
That was dumb.
So coming up here, we are going to attempt to use some of the kind of shoddy programming on the doors here to do an out of bounds. We got kind of a bad version of it there where we actually went back a room. It isn't particularly hard to do, but to get it like the first time on runs, in which you have to get it the first time when you're at kind of Josh's level in order to improve, it can be very difficult. And so we get a nice little tour of this black wasteland before returning.
I can't. So sometimes what we found out later is that you can add a dive kick with a kick on like the second next to frame, and you actually fly a lot further. Like that, but not wrong direction. Mana management? What's that? I don't understand what management is of my mana.
So, and because, again, of the kind of that same idea, the shoddy doors here, we're actually able to get back inbounds as a result. So that's what helps out with that. What's good about that is that skips that really dangerous room with the angels and the imps that Dragon Blitz had to use a Hydra Storm in to make himself safe. So, it should be noted that Maria can take a little bit more damage. She's a little bit more durable than Richter, but she is by no means like a tank. You do need to be careful about what hits you do take. So we're going to pick up that life up just to, kind of mellow things out. Nice little damage boost off of the werewolf there. If you tried to do that with Richter, you would die.
Yes. Everything breaks Richter.
Werewolf has the sickest anti-air jab ever. Just kills you instantly. So we're kind of wrapping up towards the end of this run here. So Maria, not a particularly well-known category, but it's still very, very interesting, I feel like. Unfortunately, there's not too many Maria runners. I believe the most active ones are Josh here, Wild Mouse, and Talek Zealot are probably the three that have been the most active. And more often than not, Wild Mouse has been working on Richter lately, and I don't know, what have you been doing? What has R3dninjaJOSH been working on lately?
Actually,
is it Commodore 64 programming?
Yeah,
that's
with my new Atari. Yeah, I'm practicing programming on it.
That's cool.
You gotta start somewhere. Might as well be
That's true. So we're gonna get to see one more spell to end off this run. So we've seen Byaku, we've seen the 4 Beasts spell, and now we're going to get to see Siryu, which is, like, if you haven't caught on by now, all of these spells are super broken.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you can get the game to allow you to cast them, because the inputs are kind of picky on what they want. All right. There we go. And he's completely invincible during this, so he's totally safe. And time. So that's a 9:01, and there's like a 29-second delay, I think, before you gain control of characters. That's like an 8:30.
There's a 27 countdown in the beginning.
Yeah.
So, so sub 9. I'm pretty proud of that. I haven't played this game in a long time. Got asked to do it, so any reason to show off Saturn and Maria. It's just good stuff.
Stay tuned later in the week when you get to see this guy play another Saturn game.
Yes, and you'll have to look at the schedule for that one. It's going to be pretty beautiful. But up next, we have Peaches doing Attack of the Dead, and it's going to be amazing. So you have to stick around for the weird words to come up, because they will. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys around 5 o'clock, because I'm doing another run. So.